Earning more is one side of the equation. The other side is knowing where the money actually goes. It's easy to get to the end of the month and feel like the paycheck disappeared faster than expected. Not because the income wasn't enough, but because of a lot of small expenses. In this episode, I will walk you through a simple way to track your spending and spot where the money might be slipping through, without spreadsheets, without apps, and without spending hours on it. Hey, I'm João, and welcome back to How to Make Your First Million with Your 9-to-5 Job. So far, we have covered mindset, earning more, and building your financial foundation. Today, we are talking about something that often gets skipped: knowing where your money goes. This isn't about tracking every coffee, it's about getting a clear picture so you can make better decisions with what you have. When it comes to spending, we normally think about rent, groceries, and maybe a few subscriptions. But the reality often looks different when we see the numbers. For example, food spending can be tricky. Groceries are one thing, but when you add lunches, deliveries, and random stops, the total is usually higher than expected. Same goes with subscriptions. Individually, they seem small, $10 or $15, but added together, they can quietly become one of the bigger monthly expenses. How many times we go to a store and someone sells us a warranty or an insurance and we keep paying that for years without even realize it? When I first did this exercise by myself, one of the surprises was food spending. Groceries looked reasonable, but when I added lunches, coffee stops, and the occasional delivery order, the total was almost double what I expected. It wasn't a disaster, but it made me realize something important. Small habits, repeated many times during the month, add up much faster than we think. These aren't necessarily problems, but they are worth seeing clearly. Once you know where your money is going, it's easier to decide if that's where you want it to go or if some of it could be redirected to a savings or investing account. Tracking spending sounds like a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be, and I will show you a simple approach that takes maybe 15 minutes once a month. First thing you need to do is go to your bank website or app and export your transactions. Most of the banks let you download a CSV file with the last 30 days of transactions. Second, group those transactions into basic categories. You don't need 20 different categories. 5 or 6 are enough. The ones I normally use are housing, food, transportation, entertainment, and health. If you want to do this faster, you can paste your transactions into ChatGPT and ask it to categorize them for you. I can share a prompt with you, but can be something like group these expenses by category and give me the total for each. It will do the sorting in seconds. The goal isn't to track every transaction forever. It's to get a snapshot of where your money actually went last month. That snapshot usually reveals a few patterns worth knowing about, and if you do it for 3 or 4 months, you will understand where your money goes. Once you have your categories, compare them to what you expected. Sometimes there is a gap, an area where spending is higher than you would have guessed. Often it's food, especially eating out and delivery, or subscriptions that have stacked over time. It's also worth checking for things that are easy to forget about. An app signed up 4 months ago and never used, a membership that made sense at one point but doesn't anymore, or a streaming service kept around just in case. None of this is about guilt or blame, it's just information. Once you see where the money is going, you can decide what to do with that information. Keep things as they are or redirect some of it somewhere else. In episode 1, we talked about the 50-30-20 split as a starting point. 50 for needs, 30 for wants, and 20 for investing. Now that you have your actual numbers in front of you, you can compare. How close are you to your target? If you are way off, that's not a failure, it's just useful information that you can take to change your spending. Maybe wants are at 40% instead of 30%, but now you know where to look if you want to free up more for investing. The value of tracking isn't to hit perfect numbers every month. It's to see the gap between where you are and where you want to be. and then decide if it's worth adjusting. One of the easiest ways to stick to a spending split is to automate it, and we talked about that multiple times. It will apply for almost everything on our financial life. On payday, before spending anything, move the investing percentage to a separate account. If the goal is 20%, move that amount first. Then the needs get covered. Rent, bill, groceries. What's left is the wants budget. This removes the need to rely on willpower at the end of the month because the money is already where it should be and what's left can be spent freely. The important stuff is already handled. If this is something new for you, starting small works fine. 10% going automatically to investments is a solid start. It can always be increased later. This doesn't need to be a daily thing. You can do it once a month. For me, for example, I like to do it on the first weekend of the month and I spend 15 minutes reviewing it. Remember, export the transactions, look at the categories, compare to the target split, and that's it. If something is off, it's easy to adjust the next month. If everything looks good, keep going. Over time, this kind of awareness tends to change behavior naturally, and spending patterns become clear. Also, decisions about purchase become more intentional. Something interesting happens when you start doing this regularly. You stop making spending decisions blindly. When you see the numbers every month, you naturally start asking different questions. Is this purchase actually worth it, or would I rather put that money towards investing or future goals? That awareness alone often changes behavior. Not because you are following strict rules, but because you finally have a clear picture of what's happening. Here is a simple version. Export transactions once a month, group them into a few categories, and compare to a target split, like 50, 30, 20. No complicated apps or spreadsheets that will take us hours to maintain. Just a few minutes that will help us saving and investing instead of wasting our money into expenses that don't add much value. The goal isn't to obsess about every dollar. It's just to see the picture clearly and decide if any adjustments are worth making. In the next episode, we are going to talk about the difference between assets and liabilities, and how the things we buy either move us forward or hold us in place. Hit subscribe, and I will see you in episode 5.